piece of advice have you received that you agree with, one, and then the one that you disagree? So I'll give you a chance to both say the one that you agree and then the one that you disagree. If you feel like you want to tell us who advised you badly, also tell us.
But there's no such thing as bad advice.
Okay.
Maybe it was just the wrong moment.
Okay.
Bad advice. Can't think of anything right now.
You can't think. Maybe they're here.
Maybe.
And you're like, you don't want attention. All right. Okay.
Not everything.
Mm-hmm.
At least if it doesn't go right, you still have a route of where you're going.
Mm-hmm. That was a good advice, yeah. So you don't just up and leave.
No. Have a plan always.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
Good advice for me was whatever you start, see it through till the end. Because sometimes when we face challenges, we don't want to continue. We'd rather just stop because that we're facing that particular challenge.
That's the truth.
So just continue pushing forward, and then also ask for guidance or for advice along the way. But whatever you start, finish it.
See it to the end,
To the end.
And I agree with you because I'm also that type of a person. If I say I'll do something, even if I'll be the only one, like I organize an event and it's just me, I'll just carry on. I'll give my speech. I'll write it on LinkedIn.
Bad advice for me
Yeah.
is, maybe they're in the room, but hey, let me try and shift them.
Can I guess who?
No. I think bad advice is when you see someone pursuing something, whatever they may be, painter, artist, singer, director, producer, and they're going through a challenge, that's not the time to tell them to quit. So for me, there were moments where people came to me and be like, you know what, it's never that serious.
Yeah.
You can just go back to 9 to 5 instead of saying, how can I help you? Or where can we see who you can partner with? So if you see someone down and out, don't discourage them further. Just help them.
Mmesikia timu wa kuambia tufunga hiyo biashara. Na Muthoni anafanya nini Nairobi?
That's God feeling like sharing. Maybe it was the right thing to do at that time.
Yeah. No, actually bad advice has also led me to work. So I hear you. Amazing. So tell us, what has surprised you about time and this journey? Like, I'm sure everything surprised you. But the major one, you really look and you're like, hey, tell me about that time that you really surprised yourself. And you're like, hey, I'm amazing.
Now,
Yeah.
you've actually followed through.
Can you imagine? Yeah. Give them a round of applause. That deserves a round of applause.
Yeah. We've been planning this thing from last year. So to see us actually go through with it,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yes.
It's inspiring as well. Yeah.
No, I was just talking to Joy earlier. For me, Joy, we've known each other for a very long time. Years in the industry.
Yeah.
And you just look at the journey, you're just like, I'm still at it. We haven't, thrown away this media and entertainment industry. We're still at it. That's still surprising for me.
Yeah.
And we're still at it, even though sometimes we wish the industry could shift and adjust to become better, but it's one day at a time. But for me, I'm grateful that I'm still on this journey.
Yeah, and changing it and putting a mark on it, right? It's amazing. It's so powerful. Hi. What is this vision behind NWPlus TV? And what do you hope to achieve in the next 5 years?
So I'll just speak for myself as a producer. For all these years, you're creating content. You go to a local broadcaster, you pitch, they tell you, great idea, nice. But not yet. We don't want that.
And then you see it tomorrow.
You see it tomorrow, or you see someone else who didn't even pitch, has the show on here. So you're just like, okay, fine, what's going on with this favoritism? Then again, you realize you talk to different people, they have got so much content. But not everyone is going to be on Netflix or Showmax. So then what happens to that content?
Yeah.
So the vision is to be the go-to platform for premium African content so that the world can see truly our African stories. And for too long, we've been misunderstood. And our stories have been skewed to a Western narrative. So owning our own narrative, giving the space for creators to showcase their stories without being diluted or misunderstood, but also for the producers who be on board, that they too can earn a revenue, that they too can see that I've produced this film or TV show or podcast, I can earn from it. Because yes, we can say we want to put our content on YouTube, but how many of us can get to over 100,000 subscribers?
How many subscribers do you guys have on your YouTube?
Yeah, so
Pin drop silence.
so that journey takes a long time. So we are hoping that we'll create this audience for the producers so they don't have to worry about that headache over existing audience who watch their work. That would be our burden, to ensure that your work is watched, and also ensuring that we can also give a spotlight on local voices. Because yes, we do these premieres, yes, we go for these showcasings, but how many of us get to be on the front page of a local newspaper? How many of us get showcased on, news bulletins on the news? Not many of us. So it's time to amplify those voices and make sure that we elevate them and that, they can be seen by the world. Next 5 years, I'm truly passionate about seeing more African films being nominated for the Academy Awards. I'm not saying that's the only thing, but I think it's time for us to be that home where people know, yes, this is where the premium content is coming from. And truly, why not? Let's see our films in Venice. Let's see our films in these international film festivals. Why not?
Right. So, Joy, you were mentioned by Mudoni, and it seems you've known each other for the while she's been suffering. She tries to put this up. What inspired your African passion to create content?
So maybe just an introduction. I'm Joy Nduto.
Yes.
So I'm in the TV and film industry. I'm currently focusing on content application and distribution, and I'd say a partner with NWPlus TV. Yes. The question again?
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Happy, give him a coffee. Joy, happy, give him a coffee. She's a serious partner. What inspired your passion to create African content?
I think my passion has always been the fact that we are not celebrated enough as African creators, African content creators. And also, anytime that you see something that is trending online, and when I say online, in the blockbuster, in Hollywood, it's not necessarily created in Africa.
Yeah.
When you're looking at top 10 Hollywood or worldwide films, Africa, we are top 5. You get? Yes. Yes, we need to be celebrated. Basically, because like right now, if you look at how Hollywood is changing, they're doing a lot of African content, a lot of references, a lot of how do I say, adaptations of books. An example, Black Panther. You ask yourself, why wasn't it shot here?
Yeah.
Yes. Why, as much as yes, we had representation from Ghana, from Kenya, with Lupita and the like. Why wasn't it here? Wakanda is an African story. You get, yeah? So that is a thing that's sort of like elevating and celebrating and ensuring we are at them. We are just there in the map. People are talking about us. Yes.
I'm excited there are people like you actually. Let's give them a round of applause. That's really a good visual. What insights do you have about African content and the future of the industry? I know you said it, but this question is there.
I guess we need to tap into the ever-changing landscape and also themes that are coming out from Africa. I guess we are past touching on maybe the cultural practices of maybe Kikuyu. Now I'm talking about Kenya, Kikuyu laws and Kambas. Right now, the African landscape and how we are consuming content and how people are actually appreciating those raw and tapped things that are discovered in Africa.
Yeah.
So ideally, by the time you're going and creating your content, ask yourself, who is my target? And two, how am I going to get this audience? Because as she said, at the end of the day, yes, we have all these platforms, but they're not necessarily monetizing for that particular creator.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we need to get to a point where we are getting to the audience. And when I say we are getting to the audience, not another thing of just assuming people are watching Citizen, are watching NWPlus. How am I going to meet that particular audience? That Mama Mboga seated just right now, how am I going to convince her to put data for 1 GB and actually watch? Yeah. So for me, is as you're creating your content, think about your audience, how you're going to capture it, and also how you're going also to relate with them. I think with this particular region, we sort of sometimes we complicate our concepts.
Yeah.
You get? So simplicity is always key for us. You
Yeah.
get? So so understand your content, get your audience, and go take it to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
What would you tell an African filmmaker looking for a home for their content? We know the answer.
If you're looking for a home for your particular content, and so the first thing I would say is, as a producer, you should also think about the business angle of your creation, of your content, of your film. I guess we are gotten to a point where it's not all about creating right now. You also need to live off your film, ensure that it's bringing you quite a number of income, and just maintaining and being sustainable with your particular content. So the first thing is first. If yes, deep down you know very well you just are creative, you cannot handle the business part of it. That's why we have distributors. The get here. So attaching yourself to a distributor, it's a good thing because we eat distribution. We have access to markets, we have access to different networks. We are able to open up your content for it to be taken either to festivals, to viewing platforms, to podcasters. As well, also do a bit of research and try to think try to do your research based on basically the theme of your film. Do a research and just try to Google research and see other films that were similar themes, how they were able to do well in a particular industry, and try to just see how their strategies are. And also, we have a lot of content consultants in this particular industry who can actually be able to give you advice and how you can be able to take your content to the next level. Yeah.
Also, one of the things that I'm seeing is now film composer, screenwriter, not just working in silos, but sitting together and saying, how can we create the next Wakanda? How can we create the next film that will be showcased to the world? So for me, I'll say, let's stop working within silos. You have synergies together and you can build upon that. So yes.
Amazing. A round of applause for them. Synergy. So sisi wote hapa kama content creators tunaweza fanya nini pamoja?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do something. So maybe a question from this side and a question from this side, and then we shall have Kevin back again to make us have a good time. And then we shall also look forward to screening of a film. Are you excited about watching an African film?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.